Hello there survivors, and welcome back to another build tutorial in ARK Survival Ascended. Today I'm going to show you how to build this Steampunk Workshop. This is actually part 1 of 2 parts of this build, because personally I also have a storage hall behind this build to have even more room and make sure that I can store everything that I have. But for this video today, we're only going to be building the front part of this build, the house itself, the Steampunk Workshop, where you'll have plenty of space for a bedroom, your crafting, and also a little bit of storage. But this is just to give you a little bit of choice whether you just want to build this house part. If you also want to build the storage part, keep an eye out on my channel. As soon as that part is up, it will be linked right here and in the comments down below. That being said, for this workshop part of the build, you'll only need vanilla things, but you will need access to the Bob Talltales DLC, of course, because we're using the Steampunk skin and also the Frontier skin from the Scorched Earth part of the DLC. And besides that, I'll also use a custom cosmetic called Klinger's Rustic Structures, and those structures we'll use to spice up the build a little bit more. You can also use that on official, but it's your choice, of course. If you want to add them, you can definitely still build this without that. It will just look slightly different. And as always with these build tutorials, if you enjoyed seeing them, please leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you want to show even more support, consider becoming a YouTube member. Tier 2 members actually get early access to every video that I post. With that being said, let's get into the build. And of course, as usual, we're going to start out with a foundation. This one's going to be quite easy. It's going to be a 6x6. So just a full-on square, quite nice and easy to begin with. And this is going to be the front of our building. So yeah, this is going to be like the main bit, the main Steampunk Workshop. And we're going to attach some cool, crazy Steampunk vibes buildings to this one. So yeah, simple 6x6 square. Then the first addition that we want to make is actually here on the front. We want to go out by 2. Leave this one open at the side and then fill this in. So we're basically attaching a little 2x4 in the front, which is going to be the main entrance of the entire build. And let's start with the main entrance here as well. So first of all, we want to add a nice gate here in front, which is going to be our door. And let's actually add a gate into the gateway so we have a nice front. Then we have walls going 4 high around the entrance like this to, yeah, fill in the wall, of course. And then we want to have some roofs attached to the side like this as well, filling them in with some of the slope walls on the side, just as a little nice detail here. You want to make sure that these go down with walls on the side so that we don't see any openings. And then we want to add in some ceilings right here. Then we'll grab our quarter ceilings, or triangle ceilings actually, and we'll make a nice little pattern like this, which is going to be our little entrance. It works best if it's raised up a little bit higher, but of course that will very much depend on your landscape. But this is where we want to add in some stairs to the sides like so. And of course, depending on your landscape and the height of this might differ, and you might have to add a little bit more. Then we want to add in some walls to fill in these last remaining bits. And if it allows you, you'll place down some sloped walls, of course, next to these stairs on all sides. And then we can add some pillars there as well. Again, this might be a little bit better if it's a little bit higher above the ground, as you will see in the tour at the end. And then here on top, we want to add in some nice railings all the way to kind of support this staircase. And then here as well, we'll add in some railings on this support of the building, just to add in some nice details. Of course, we're going to use the steampunk skin plenty in here. So let's take out that steampunk skin. First of all, we'll change these bottom walls that we won't see from the outside, but from the inside we will. We can of course also change the gate to the steampunk skin. And we're going to change the top layer here. We'll also update this side bit and the railings. Don't forget about these walls to the side. And then, of course, these stairs as well, because that's just a little bit of a nicer look. And basically just go around on all of the sides and replacing those skins to be the nice, cool steampunk ones. And of course, this floor, we want to change that as well. Then we want to add in some pillars here on the corner, just to kind of add in that little bit of extra support. And these we want to also change to the steampunk skin. And then you actually want to change them to the stone variation. And if you're able to install mods, there's now a variant cycle mod where you can just shoot things to cycle between variants. Works for all these pieces. It's a great lifesaver because it saves so much time. Okay, then here on the side, we actually want to take out our quarter walls, the stone quarter walls, and go up until the last wall. We'll do the same thing right here on this side. And then the top two can just be normal walls. Of course, we'll want to add a nice pillar in that corner again. And here in the middle, we'll add the door frame and then the tall door frames underneath it to make a nice tall window. You can take out the steampunk skins, add them here for the pillars, add them for the top layer, and add them here for this middle layer where the window is going to be. Of course, here on the other side, we're going to do the exact same thing. So we basically recreate that window once more with the nice stone pieces on the side quarter walls so that we can have the window in the middle. There we go. And of course, we'll change these skins as well, like so, and change them to the steampunk variant. And then of course the pillars, we want to change those to the stone variant. We'll add greenhouse doors to these windows to add in some nice glass. And then add ladders here on the outside. Of course, doing that on both sides of the build. And then changing them to the fancy steampunk skin so they look a little bit nicer and add a little bit of detail to the window. Okay, then we can take out some stone ceilings, attach them here to the side of these walls like so. We can actually update those skins as well to be the steampunk variant. And then we can take out our slope walls and we'll start here on the wall design. We're actually going to have slope walls there as well. Adding in some full walls right here. For now, we'll also add in full walls like this, just so that we can start this middle section with some nice slope walls. Then here, we'll continue those slope walls like so. We can remove these temporary full walls and continue the shape like this. We'll change these all to the nice steampunk skins like so. Take out a frontier skin and change these to the glass variant to have a nice little window in the middle of a wall there, which just breaks it up a little bit, adds a little bit of wood, which is nice for color variation. Take out the roofs and we'll add in rows of 3 like so, and we'll just do that for this entire bit. So 3 rows of 3. And of course, on the other side, it's going to be the exact same thing. Basically finishing this entrance. We want to place a little quarter wall here on the end. Then snap a thin pillar to that. Remove the quarter wall. Change to your stone railings. Add those on top of the roof. Like this. And then also snap them here below the edge of the roof. Just as a nice little detail for the roof. And then we can take out our steampunk lamps. And we'll switch to the desk light. And this is where you want to place it. We're not actually going to turn it on, but it's just a nice little shape on top of the roof to add a little bit more detail. Then we can take out our steampunk skins. Take them and change all these new roof pieces to create our fabulous looking steampunk roof. Don't forget about this little thin pillar. And of course, do the same thing here on the other side. There we go. And then the middle one of these roofs, we want to change to the window variant, which is another lovely addition to these skins and adds in a nice little extra detail there. So that is going to be the main entrance of the build. We'll take out our walls and then fill up this corner wall right up till where we have the ceilings of the entrance. So here as well, we'll fill it right up until there. Then here above the roof line, we're going to add in some slope walls right here, right there, and right here. And of course, we will continue the same thing on the other side as well. Okay, and then here on the side, we're going to go up by 6 in total. So like this. And of course, here on the other side, we'll do the same thing. So go up by 6 in total. Okay, here in the middle, we're going to go up by 2 like that. Then here, we're going to place down our little doorways and add the tall doorways underneath. Okay, we're going to take out 4 little quarter ceilings right over here. We'll change them to the steampunk skin. Then we'll actually change them to the glass skin like this so that we can see through. And then we'll take out our greenhouse glass. We might skin this later, but just so you know how to build this yourself, we're going to build like a little cross with greenhouse glass like this. Take out our slope walls and make this a little bit more rounded like so. Then here on the sides, we'll fill in the roofs right there, right here, and on the other side, the same thing. Then once again, we'll bring out the walls to fill in the sides of this bit. There we go. And then here on top, of course, we can just use a normal greenhouse ceiling like that. Here we'll take out our greenhouse doors whilst we're at the greenhouse factory. We'll do the windows right here, filling them in nicely. Then we can take out our slope walls and fit them in around this shape like this. And of course up here as well, like so. Then we want to have our quarter walls and fill up this area right next to it. Up until the end of the sloped wall that we've already placed down against the glass. So like this. Then we can bring out our slope walls again, have one on the corner, go up from there. Same thing here on this side. We want to go up like this. We can have 2 normal walls there in the middle still, and then, of course, finishing the roof like so. And what we actually want to do is extend this by 1 more slope wall so that it is not just a flat wall going up, but we have that little overhang to the side. Then we can take out those stone pillars and actually add them in here along the entire wall up to where it meets the top of the roof. And of course, we'll do the same exact thing here on the other side of the building like that. Then we can take out our steampunk skins once more. We can change the bottom skin here and start adding all these pillars all the way up. Well, we will change them to the stone variant in a little bit, of course. Same thing here on the other side. We'll change these, the bottom one, and then go all the way up until we reach the roof part. Then here we want to change this sloped wall, and then go up like so. So this slope wall, and then go up like this. And then the top layer here, we can all change, of course. Everything above the glass addition that we've made. There we go. Other side as well. And actually this last layer we're going to do as well. So all the quarter walls, the slope wall, right up to where basically the glass part starts is going to be the steampunk. And the rest we will keep as the normal stone. Actually, we will also update the skins here up till the ceiling that we have in place. So these ones. And then we're going to change the variants. The bottom one can be fancy. The middle one will be metals. So the middle 2 will be metal ones. We'll do that here on the other side as well. And then we'll do the middle one here to metal 2, just to make it a little less busy with all those fancy decorations. And of course, the pillars need to be the stone variant. And we actually want to grab this Klinger's Rustic custom cosmetic. You can also use this on official. And with this one, we can make the greenhouse glass look a little nicer. You could also use the Frontier skin, at least for the front of this. And yeah, I just think this looks a little better than having it normal greenhouse glass or anything else. Just a little bit fancier this way. Of course, if you do play with actual mods, you could also use ASR if you maybe want to use some stained glass instead. Okay, there we go. That is pretty much the beginning of this building, the front of the building. Okay, and then we're going to start here on the right side. We're going to actually start with the middle 2, and we're going to raise this wall up by 4 in total. So like this. Then what we want to do is grab some of our quarter walls, add them here on the corners, like so. And then we can add a little doorway because we're going to have an addition here to the side. And this is so that we know where, and we already have the door in place. Then here on the corner, we can actually just go up with our normal wall all the way up until right underneath this sloped wall that we have sticking out. And then here on the other side, of course, we're going to raise up this wall to be just as high. Then we can start filling in the rest of the wall. Basically, we just want to go along and fill it all in like this. Nothing too special because we're going to be attaching a whole other build to this. These one we'll also fill in, but we'll leave 3 walls open. We're going to change to the doorways, add them to the top, and then the longer doorways we'll add underneath to create more of those tall windows that we like. And then here on this corner, of course, we can add in our nice pillar as a corner piece to add in a little bit more support. And of course, we want to change those to the steampunk skin and actually change them to the stone variation. Of course, we want to fill in these with greenhouse doors as proper windows and add some ladders to the outside for the extra details. Then we can update at least these stairs to the steampunk skin and also the windows themselves. The one above, we'll change those too. Then this whole line, we want to change to the steampunk skins. Then we can go up from the corner, go all the way across the top. This one, of course, also all the way down. And in the middle two will also update. Of course, if you leave it like this, it's a little bit busy. So we want to change some variants to the normal metal one. This one is going to be metal. So this one as well. This one can be fancy. Then the ones above it, these 6, we want to be the metal variant like that. These 4, we also just want the normal metal variant. And then, of course, the same thing here on this side. And once again, I can't recommend enough the variant cycle mod to change these skins quite quickly instead of having to interact with every single one. Then here at the side, we want to add in 2 roofs like this, of course, supporting them with some nice sloped walls on the side so that they look a little bit nicer, and then filling in the rest with some normal walls like so, basically to add some extra support to the building as a little extra detail. And we want to have some railings around the edges as well, like this, just to look a little bit nicer. And we can update this all to the steampunk skins to look even nicer. Basically the same little pattern that we did for the main entrance. And I almost forgot, but these bottom ones, we actually also want to all change to the steampunk skin. And here, of course, we want to add in a door, make it steampunk, because that's going to be the entrance to this room. And we're going to start off with this room with some quarter ceilings. I'll use wood for this. But of course, since we're skinning most of it, it doesn't really matter too much what you use. So we'll have 4 quarter ceilings right there, and then normal ceilings next to it, and then extending them to be 3 long in total, filling this all in. And this will be our little addition on the side. Then we want to have some quarter ceilings. Add a little balcony on the side of this building right over here. We're going to place a doorway right here. I like to flip around these walls. Even though we're going to skin them, it is going to make a difference. And then we'll fill in this entire wall to be 3 high in total, like this. We'll do the same thing here on the other side. Fill in the walls 3 high, like so. And then, of course, the front, the sides are going to be 3 high as well. And then the middle one can actually be 4 high instead. We'll take out the normal quarter walls and then the variant above to attach to the sides of these. Then we can take out our slope walls like this and then connect them up at the top like so. Then, of course, we can take out our railing and add a nice railing for this little balcony that we've created. Then it's time to take out our pillars. We definitely want to have pillars here on the corner. We also want to have pillars next to this middle wall all the way like so. And here on the side, we'll add in some pillars as well. Same thing over here, like that. Then we want to add in some beams, at least around the side of the building. We'll also add them on this side. And as you can see, we can't add them on the front yet. Now, I'm not sure why, but if we add some thin pillars right here, which you won't really even see, then we can now all of a sudden add in the beams. Then it's time to take out our quarter ceilings again and connect them up to the building like this on the other side as well. Then we'll take out our roof and of course start adding them right here. We should be able to go out to the side. And again, you might have some overlapping problems, but we shouldn't have overlapping problems in the middle. So once more, we'll go down here and we'll hide some extra thin pillars here on the side of the building, and that might get us the support that we need. For some reason, that is helping, and we won't ask any questions, but just use it to place on our roof like this. Now, unfortunately, we can't add a stone quarter wall in here, so we can't add the same detail that we did on this front, but we can still add railings on top, so we'll do that for sure to add in that little detail at least. And unfortunately, we can't add any railings underneath this either because of the support that we have, and we don't want to really add any pillars to the ground over here, so we'll keep it just like this. What we will do is add a little bit more support over here. So right here in the middle, we want to add in a nice roof like so. Add in the slope walls on the side as well. And then even add in some railings here on the side just to support it a little bit more. Right now, the house is kind of floating to the side. So what you want to do is take out your wooden scaffolding and go from this middle block right here to the side of the building like so. And of course, we'll do the same thing right here, adding them in until we reach the wall. There we go. That looks a little bit better supported, and also it just adds a little bit extra to the look. Then we're going to take out our steampunk skin. First of all, we're going to change this little bit that we've built underneath to look a little bit nicer. Then we can change all these pillars, but we are going to keep the normal wooden variant, the default variant here. So we'll change all these pillars and beams that we've placed for this part of the build. There we go, up here, and that should look a little bit like this. We'll change in these quarter ceilings as well on both sides, of course, like this. And then of course update the roof to the steampunk skins, and making sure that we've done that for both sides everywhere. And then the middle two here, you can actually change to the window variant to add a little extra shape to the roof, which is a really nice addition, of course. So small, but still breaking up the normal patterns. Then we want to take out our frontier skins. We're still on the glass skins that we've used before. These middle windows are going to be nice and tall on both sides of this little addition. And then here as well, all the way up to the top, including these using the glass variant. Then going to the normal one and filling in the rest of the wood, because this wood just looks really, really nice. And it actually goes quite well with the other steampunk skins that we've been using so far. So we want to go around and update this skin everywhere. And then here as well, changing all these ceilings to some nice frontier ones, because yeah, I just prefer the look. And let's not forget to add a door in as well, and then you might want to update that too. And you can choose whether you use a frontier door or maybe go for a steampunk door. And that is the side wall of this building completely done now. I really love the way this little addition looks, kind of just attached to the side, which already really enhances the steampunk feel of this build. Okay, now it's time to start worrying about the other side of the building. Here we want to start out by adding in the pillar to this corner as well, which we can have going up the same amount, of course. And then updating to the steampunk skin and changing it to the stone variant. Then first of all, we want to take the corner bit and just take it all the way up until where it meets the end of the pillar and where the sloped wall sticks out. And we want to do that on both of these corners of the building, right up to the top right here. Then we actually want to fill in the bottom like so, and then we can fill in these ones to be 4 high in total. We can also fill in these. We can fill in this one, leave this one open, and then switch to the windows right here and right there. There we go. So 2 windows like that. Let's also actually add in these windows like this, so that we have some actual proper windows in there. Okay, and this one that we left open, we're going to place in a double doorway. It will all make sense in a little bit. We want to take out our steampunk skins and first of all change all of them here along the bottom of the build, as well as these, including the windows, and up till they end. So this one as well, all the way like this. Then these we also want to change into the steampunk skins, and once again going all the way to the top for these ones. And of course, we want to add in some variation. So these ones are going to be the metal ones like that. And then this one, the first one can be fancy and the rest is going to be metal, except the top one. And on the other side, of course, we'll be doing the exact same thing like that. Okay, then we're going to take out our wooden ceilings once more. We're going to line it up with the double door that we have. And we're going to go out by 3. And then go to the side by 4. So a little 3x4 we're going to add here on the side. Then here we're going to start by a wall, bringing it up by 5 in total. So here as well, bringing it up by 5 in total. And then here, just the upper 2 are going to be added. On the other side, we're just going to fill in the entire wall and raise it up by 5 in total to match up with the other side. And then here on the corners on the front, we're actually going to raise it up by 6 instead. So just a little bit higher than what we did on the sides, like so. We'll take out our slope walls and we'll start adding in the shape like this. Then we want to take out our quarter wall. Now, normally you have to alternate these variants, but since we're going to be changing these to the frontier skin, it doesn't really matter. Otherwise, of course, you would have to alternate every one of these so that they don't leave those weird little gaps with the other walls. But for now, this is just a lot faster and it doesn't really matter. And then the middle ones, once again, are going to be full walls like this all the way up to here. And then above, we should be able to add in our slope walls to finish this shape in a nice way. Here on the inside, we'll add in some stairs like this. So right over here, we'll extend this ceiling through the doorway. And then we can also grab our stairs and make them go down into the hallway here. And then here we want to fill in the sides with slope walls so that we can't see underneath them. We'll take out the stone roofs and place them here underneath. And of course, add some slope walls here to the side as little supports. We'll take out our railings, also add them like this once again to add in some extra supports for this whole bit. Then it's time to start adding the pillars right here on the corner. Of course, we're going to add in a pillar up until where the slope wall sticks out. So right over here. Then we can actually go to the inside and also add some pillars right over here in these corners. Just like that. And again up to this layer. And then underneath this staircase pattern, we also want to add in some pillars. Also one above. And then going all the way down, but this time the thin pillar variant. And we'll take out our railings and fill in them here on the side to make a nice little protected staircase. And this stair will also give them. And then we'll change to the steampunk skin and change these skins to the steampunk variants instead to make them look a little bit nicer. These railings, of course, as well as the staircase itself. And then whilst we're at it, we might as well change this staircase too. Then these pillars, we actually want to update and we want to change them to the stone variant as well, because otherwise they're going to clip with the outside part of the wall. Then, of course, it's time to take out our stone beams, connect the sides up like this. Want to do the same thing here for the other side. And then the front, once again, won't allow us. We can actually fix this once more by hiding in some of these thin pillars here on the side. I'm not quite sure why, but it just really helps. So we'll just add in a few here just to add in the extra supports that we need, because now we can actually place them all the way across for some reason. And there we go. And then, of course, we want to update these skins to the steampunk variant as well. But this one, we can just keep like the default variation, because I actually think that blends it quite nice for this wooden bit of the tower. And to add a little bit more support, we actually want to add in some scaffolding once more. We're going to start here right in the middle, like so. And then, of course, we'll want to add in one here as well. And then the same thing here over to the side like that. Just to add in some more proper support for this side addition to our build. Then we're going to add something here. We're going to add a roof like this. We're going to add some slope walls to the side to kind of fill that in again. We'll take out our quarter ceilings and we'll place 4 right here like this. And then we'll take out our windows. We'll place 3 of them alongside this little structure. Then actually change to walls. Add 3 on top of them. And then some quarter walls to fill in the gap with the main structure that we've got going on. Like this. Add a ceiling on top. And then once again go around it with some quarter ceilings like this to fill in the gaps. There we go. Of course, we want to fill in the actual windows. Once again, take out our railings, add them underneath the roof bit. If you do have overlapping, you can actually add one right over here as well. If you can't, just leave them out, and then here you can also add one. And then what I like to do is add a little Tesla coil to the roof here. I don't know if this worked on official settings without overlapping, but now we can just place down the roof. If this doesn't work for you because it's not allowed to overlap, what you could do instead is just place the normal roof and then have one of the Frontier oil lamps on top to make it a little bit more pointy. I like that detail as well, but this one is just a little bit better for the steampunk builds in my opinion. And then, of course, we'll take out the steampunk skin and start updating this entire structure to look proper steampunky. Just only this little tower, not the main wooden bit, of course. And then the finishing touch is adding a clock right over there to make a tiny little clock tower attached to this build. Then we'll pick our frontier skin and start updating these ceilings right over here to make them look all nice. And then we can also update these walls. So this is going to all be the frontier skin because I just like the look of that wood a little bit more. But of course, that's this personal preference. So if you do prefer the default wood more, you can of course keep that as well. It doesn't really matter too much. Although for the windows, we're definitely going to need the frontier skin. So for now, we'll fill in all of this on the front except the middle ones, because those are going to be a nice tall window. There we go. And then here on the side, of course, we also want to change all the skins to the nice frontier one. Then you change to the class variant and we can have a nice tall window here in the middle, including the top two, just because that looks quite nice. And what you can actually do for extra details is add some pillars along this side of this window. And then, of course, update them to the steampunk skins, because that also just adds that little extra detail and it looks quite nice too. There we go. And then here on this side, we can actually also add in a window if we want. I would do it just as a too high window. And then you have this wall still clear to maybe place some structures again, so some storage, for example. We'll take out our stone ceilings and snap them here to the slope wall up until the normal main structure, like this. And then this is where we can start our proper roof for this build. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our roof go up here by 3. And then, of course, go down by 3 here as well. And then extend it here outwards by 3 more. So we're going to have a nice roof to overlap with our building. And just filling that in on both of the sides. Now, once again, we can't have the little quarter wall on the end, but we can have our little railing. So we can at least add in that detail. And we can't add in anything underneath these roofs, so we won't do that. We can, of course, extend this up to the roof that we've now built. So we'll have some slope walls right here. And then fill in these with some nice steampunk skins. And we can actually change the entire roof to the steampunk skin now, because that looks, of course, a whole lot nicer. Blends in nicely with the rest of the structure. Don't forget about these. Update those to the steampunk variation as well, because that just looks a lot nicer. And then we're just going to go around updating all of these skins to the steampunk variant. And you might have guessed it, we're going to change the middle ones to have some windows to add some extra detail and interest here to the roof. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually take out some ramps and add them here to the end to kind of extend this a little bit more and have one overlapping with the front and back, just to add that little bit of extra shape into the build. And of course, updating them to the steampunk textures, because they are quite fancy and a nice little ending for our roof design here. Okay, then it's time to start here on the main roof. We're gonna fill in this by adding 2 ceilings here and 2 ceilings here on the other end. Then we can actually take out this roof here in the middle, because that's gonna link up together. And we'll actually have some roof corners like this instead, so that we can connect the 2 roofs nicely together. Then we can take out our roofs and start filling in this side of the roof, the main roof. And it's just going to go all the way across like this, overlapping by 1 on the end. And just filling this all the way in like this. So nothing too fancy, nothing too special. Just a nice normal roof. And then, of course, on top, we want to add in our railing to add in some detail here. There we go. Then we can take out our steampunk skins and start updating this side so that we can get the proper look going on here. Okay, and then we can add in some windows here in the middle, just above where the addition is. Leave a gap of 1, add another window, and do the same thing here on the other side, just to add in a few details to the side of this roof. Now we actually want to add in some extra details. If you don't have overlapping, you might have to take away the railing for this for a little bit. But right here on the end, we want to add in our quarter walls so we can snap a thin pillar to it. And then we can take away the quarter walls and have just the railing there. There we go. We also want to have railings underneath the side of the roof. Like this. And the same thing here, of course, on the other side. There we go. And we'll take out the desk light again and place them on top of these thin pillars, just as a nice extra little detail. There we go. We'll do it on both sides. And that's just to add an extra little detail to the roof. Then here on this side, of course, we want to start filling in our ceilings as well. We can go all the way alongside the wall like this. And then we can start filling in the roof. For the first layer, we just want to fill it in all the way across, like so. Then here the outside, we can fill in up to the middle. We can do the same thing here on the other side, fill that in. And we can actually also just fill in the middle too. And then the top two on the sides that we've left open for now. There we go. We can take out our corners, add a little addition like this and like that, and then stick them out by one more normal roof to really make them stand out a little bit more. We'll have the little quarter wall on top, the end of each one. Snap a thin pillar to it. Remove the quarter wall once more. And then change to the railings on top. Like so and like so. And underneath these bits as well. Like this and like that. Then in here, of course, we want to have some nice sloped walls. And we want to change those to the frontier glass skin so that they are little windows in the roof. And of course, add the little desk light on top of these pillars that we've added. There we go. Nice little details. Then we can take out our steampunk skins and we can start updating this entire structure to look a little bit more steampunky. So we're just going to go alongside the entire roof now and update all of these skins to make them look a little bit nicer. And then here we can, of course, add in some more windows. We're just going to do the middle two here on this side. And there we go. A nice little side of the roof. Then it's time to add a few extra little details. First off, some extra scaffolding supports to support these roof shapes. There we go. We're going to do them here on the sides. And then after two, we're going to add one more. Just to add a little bit more support to the whole side of the roof. We're going to do that here on this side. Here, of course, we can only add them here at the ending, of course, because we already have the roof integrated into the main structure here. There we go. Here on these sides, we also want to make sure we do this. So we're going to have some nice support here on the end as well. Here on the front, we're going to do the same thing. Add some nice support like this. Here as well. And we almost forgot this, but we want to add some more supports here on this side like we did on the other side as well. So just some roofs with some sloped walls next to them, of course, and then connecting up the walls all the way down into the ground just to kind of complete the look and support the whole building. And then we'll have some railings on top like that, of course. Do that for both. And then update the skins to the steampunk variants. There we go. Like this. Same thing here. for this side, just to add that little bit of extra shape and details to the build. We've just added the scaffolding, but this skin from the Klinger's Rustic Custom Cosmetics, we also use this for the nice glass window at the top of the build. This actually looks really, really nice because it has that little curve going on, which adds some extra shape to the build that otherwise we can't. So where we've placed the scaffolding, and I mean everywhere, we kind of want to update those to these custom cosmetics because they look amazing and they really add an extra little bit of shape because of the curve that we normally do not have in ARK. And that is why I absolutely adore them, because look how much cooler that looks. It fits the steampunk vibe. It blends in very well with the other skins that we've used. So it actually is a quite nice addition, improvement in my mind. So I would definitely recommend grabbing this. And you can, as I said before, use this on official as well. So why not? Because it just is going to make your build look so much better. And there we go. We'll follow this shape all the way around and add in that little new shape to it, because it really changes up the shapes for these. And I've actually also just noticed that I need to update these to the steampunk skins as well, because those look much nicer and fancier underneath. So we definitely want to have that going on instead. There we go. So that's some nice added details. Then, of course, these insides and these floors we can also update to the steampunk skin. So we'll just go around the entire floor updating those, because we definitely want those fancy floors in here to really make this workshop look as nice as it could. And then, of course, we want to add in the floor here as well. So this is going to be the floor. We can add in some railings here to the side and then pretty much just follow the shape of the building to fill it all in. And that should line up with the door of the little room that we made on this other side. And we can just go around, fill in the rest of this, and then you'll have a pretty spacious room over here. There we go. So we got this little room on the side, the little clock tower, of course, this main room, this smaller room to the side, and then, of course, the downstairs, which is also a pretty big hall. And then technically you could still add another layer, because there's definitely enough room. You could probably add another floor on this level. However, if you don't need that, I would just keep a nice tall room instead. And what we're going to do then is just add another layer of walls on top of here to make it look a little bit nicer from the inside. And then here, we're actually adding in some sloped walls just to finish this wall section off. There we go. Change it all to the steampunk skins, and here we're gonna do the exact same thing. So this is the entire workshop. Now for the back side of this building, I would probably do the exact same thing as here on the front, unless you want to add another big storage hall behind it, if you want to make sure that you have enough space to store all the things that you're collecting on your ARK journey. In a few days time, I'll upload another tutorial which will include that, which will be the Steampunk Workshop Plus storage. That's the one you're looking for. I will pin it here, or I will leave it down in the comments as soon as that video is up. But if you just want the workshop, this is pretty much what you build. But there is some extra details that you can add, those being pipes. And these water reservoirs, if you turn off snapping, you can place them quite nicely next to your building, turn back on the snapping, and you can stack them on top of each other. And then you can turn them into these pipe looking structures, which is, of course, for a steampunk build, quite a nice addition. So then again, for the first one, we turn off snapping. We place one right over here, for example, and then we turn on the snapping again, and then we have a pipe going up. It could even be a chimney in some cases, but it's just a nice little detail to play with to kind of create these extra details for our building. So here, for example, we could make it more like a chimney like this. Of course, this is quite an expensive way of decorating, so I'll leave it completely up to you whether you want to use this or not, because this of course can escalate quite quickly in how expensive your build is going to be. But it does look quite cool, and especially if you start playing around with paint, you can make them look quite nice indeed. So definitely something to consider. It's quite fun, and they do look quite good. It is quite a nice fit for the steampunk builds, in my opinion. But yeah, as I said, they do get quite expensive. So I'll leave the choice up to you whether or not you want to add them. But yeah, in positions like this, I would probably want to add them just to add some extra details, because they are quite good. They just have that nice rounded shape, and we do not have a lot of round shape in ARKs, which is why I like it so much for a little bit of decoration, basically, which is definitely what it does very, very well. So yeah, you could add, for example, a few like these to make it look a little bit more steampunky. But if you think, no, that's too much, that's too expensive, you can easily leave this step out, of course. Now, for the little tour, this is the workshop that I've built here on my playthrough. I've had some mods to enhance the build. As I said, I've got the stained glass here on top from ASR, Architect Structures Remastered, but the way I showed it in the tutorial is totally fine, and a way to do it without mods. I also have JVH Landscaping, which allows me to place all those extra plans for details. You can see I've painted up a bunch of the pipes as well. And as I told you, I've got the storage in the back. So if you want this extra addition to the build, keep an eye out on the channel. That full tutorial will be up pretty soon as well. Now let's take a quick look at the workshop itself. You can see over here, if you have the entrance raised a little bit, it does look quite a little bit more epic. And this, of course, is the main entrance. Now, everything behind this line is the storage, so we're not going to look at that. This is the main hall that we have, and you can see it's quite big because you can easily and comfortably fit in a industrial forge, or probably also just a new steam forge if you want to. So I've got a little bit of decoration going on here, but nothing too much. The main things are going on here. We've got a little kitchen here and a little crafting area over here, fridge as well, and of course a linked storage box, plus the access to our little clock if we want to boost our crafting here. And then this is the main area where, as you can see, you've got quite a little bit of space to add in most, if not all, of your crafting tables, because again, I still have the middle open, so there's definitely room for more. And if you combine it with the other build, the storage room, then of course you can have a nice view of your storage system from here as well. And then I've not added anything above, as I said, because I didn't really need the space, but we do have a little bedroom here to the side that is decorated partially using vanilla. The beds are from the Western Deco mod, just to add a little bit more details. And yeah, I think it's a really nice build. The steampunk vibes are high. You might have to pay a price, of course, with all those water reservoirs. And then I've added a second clock in here, which is also part of the Western Deco mod. It's a proper mod, but there's also a custom cosmetic version available if you can't just add mods because you play on official, for example. Well, there we go. That is the entire Steampunk Workshop. Hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hopefully I'll see you around in the next video. Goodbye.